G'day guys, g'day prospectors, g'day detectorists, whatever. Okay, the Minelab Gold-Monster-2000. It is really hard to get any information on this detector. It's like we can see pictures of it, we can see people poking around with it on YouTube, mainly over in Africa, East Africa to be more exact, and we don't know much more about it except some specifications that we can't prove or disprove. So far we're told it's a VLF pulse induction hybrid. So does it operate in multi-frequency from basically what they say is 12 kilohertz to 75, where your 12 kilohertz is for fairly decent penetration into the ground for big gold, and your 75 kilohertz is for very, very tiny, tiny gold, 0.00 something of a gram type gold, or even gold that PIs just won't touch in a million years. Or is it something that it has a interleaved pulse induction pulse in with the VLF frequencies? So it could be, or it could transmit even into those frequencies as well, and just look at all the phase information from all the multi-frequencies and the return signal from a pulse induction detector pulse within that frequency band as well. It can be done. Very, very clever processing can do that. So my bet is that it's actually utilizing VLF. I doubt that it's going to have any sort of pulse induction transmit output. I think it's all VLF, just basically running a lot of frequencies between it's been said 12 to 75. It might be lower, it might be even higher, it might be 1.5 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz. We don't know until we are told, and you can't go on hearsay. So anyway, I've done some research as much as I can, and yeah, we're having a look at this sort of stuff, and I've come to the conclusion that it's very similar to what the Equinox and the Vanquish use for multiple transmit frequencies. Yeah, comparing that against the Gold-Monster's single 45 kilohertz output, it gives you a better range of frequencies for different types of gold. Now, they say it's a hybrid PI. This is what we're listening to, PI. What can we do? How do we put that together? Well, it could be using the way a PI decodes parts of a signal to possibly enhance depth, enhance noise rejection. But yeah, there's nothing out there like that uses that sort of technology as a combined hybrid in a detector. So what else we got? On the research here. Yeah, Minelab's MultiQ technology, like used in the Equinox 800, and I think the other ones as well, which operate between 5 and 40 kilohertz. So this other one's meant to have a bit higher, and well, actually a lot higher than 40 kilohertz, but a bit higher than the 5 at 12. So Just trying to work out what we can do. So guaranteed it's going to pick up 0.1 or less sized nuggets. Dear me, what else we got here? I've just gone through heaps and heaps of stuff and trying to put something together, and I've just probably made a lot of clutter. Yeah, but we came up with some advantages that it should massively outperform the Gold-Monster-1000, and also PI detectors, such as the SDC 2300. So what's going to happen with that? This is only my opinion, by the way. It's my opinion based on some research of how all these things work, basically how sensitive they are. What else we got here? This is what we're thinking. We'll have automatic noise cancel, completely automatic operation within reason, auto ground balance, and possibly auto sensitivity to handle if you're doing a multi-frequency, interrogation of the ground and targets. There's so much information coming back, and you really have to have a way of controlling your sensitivity in that regard, because it's going to be dealing with a lot of different mineralization as well. Who knows? Maybe that it does have something like that automatic sensitivity adjustment, which can be good, it can be bad, depends how you look at it. It'll definitely have discrimination, but how accurate's the discrimination? With all those frequencies, you'd think it'd be like a coin detector, and you'd be able to narrow down conductivities and say, this is gold and this is lead. This is, obviously you're going to have iron discrimination. Get rid of that. But things around the conductivity of gold, things, basically your copper, your silver, your lead, your aluminium or aluminum, whatever you want to call it, that stuff could be indicated on a numerical display, and say with a, hope and a prayer that that's what it is, because it has to take into account the soil mineralization. All gold nuggets are not pure, or there are some that are pure, but they're very, very rare. Most of them run somewhere, well, it depends in whereabouts in the world you are. Some gold's like down at 60%, and the rest is silver and copper and whatever else. So yeah, in some parts of the world you might have to be careful if you rely on the discrimination. Depends on the soil as well. Can they compensate for everything? I don't know. So I'm just having a look at the history of things, and the Gold-Monster-1000 was tested over in Ghana, Mali, Tanzania. I think it's been tested in Ethiopia as well, according to some of the videos I've seen. So they're really, by look of it, they've done some trademarking with Arabic writing with Gold Monster, so they're obviously really trying to concentrate on that African, Middle Eastern type area market. That is my gut feel. I think that's why it was tested over there first, to launch it over there first. The homegrown people prospectors here probably last on the list. Just my opinion. I don't know. So let's have a look. Where would the strengths be? The strengths in the Gold-Monster-2000. Well, it'll be extremely sensitive to sub 0.1 gram nuggets. It'll be really, really sensitive. You know, and it'll probably be very user friendly and also very good discrimination performance as well. So this could be a really, really good detector, but still I don't know everything about it. I think some of the people swinging it, testing it, don't know everything about it. Please go and make a coupling loop and stick it on or near an oscilloscope, and I want to have a look at the waveform from the coil, and then we'll work out what it is. But apart from that, we don't know. We don't know if it has any PI capability, that it just goes badunk with a PI pulse in a particular fashion and gets deep information from that, deeper, bigger gold. And, you know, maybe it has a sniff with its VLF and tries to do a discrimination on it. But normally, if you'd have to put PI in there as well, the VLF won't go as deep as PI. So that might be just, you know, turn off, turn on function. Who knows? I don't know. I'm only guessing. I'm only guessing and looking at it from a logical point of view. Yeah. So basically, we can say we have a lack of evidence, right? We do have a lack of evidence on how it actually works. But there's an interesting thing here, which I ran the scenario. I compared this will really interest you. I compared the scenario of ZVT tech, which is used in the 7000, and I then did a comparison against the 12 to 75 kilohertz SMF tech, which is just basically, you know, all those a spread of frequencies in that range anyway, and processing, and it's quite interesting. It might actually work better than the 7000, even though it's going to be a cheaper detector. Minelab will probably hate me suggesting anything like that, but it's my opinion. And from what research I've done, be it accurate or inaccurate, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. But that's where we are, and I've got a few more notes here. Where are we? Okay. Where's my other notes on it? Okay. God, I don't read all that. Righto, where are we? So, look, it could possibly, and I'll say this just as my opinion piece, without really knowing, that it's going to definitely beat the Gold-Monster-2000. So, you know, what happens to those detectors? You're going to still run around with one when there's a new one come out that leaves it for dead. So they might be relegated to the scrap heap. Not necessarily, but I'll tell you what, the price is going to drop on the second-hand market. It might actually kill off the SDC 2300. I can't see why you'd use a PI of a very small coil. If this new thing comes out with two coils, small one and a bigger one, of course, it's only what the hearsay is out there. We don't know for sure, you know, 5 and 10-inch coil sort of thing. But then again, I'm just guessing, in my opinion, a logical opinion. Okay. I've tried to work out how you'd incorporate pulse induction, you know, on the receiver side of things, and yeah, I did have some notes here somewhere where we looked at it all and came up with a scenario. So we know that the Gold-Monster-2000, I think, has a 24-bit processor in it, which is pretty good. May it need more processing power in the 2000? Possibly, and maybe not, but with more, yes. Yeah. So no, it's interesting that this might be a really, really, really good detector. Okay. Definitely with discrimination over those frequencies, like a coin detector. We haven't really seen that in a dedicated gold detector, have we? But I know some dual purpose detectors out there, but not something that's really a gold detector with this amount of discrimination capability. So you'd be able to wave it around like crazy. Well, not too fast, of course, but you'd be able to, really work quick and ignore all the junk and not waste time digging. So yeah, it looks interesting, doesn't it? Okay, there's a lot of people's claims out there, but we can't verify them. Yeah, yes, we know all that. I'm just trying to think of anything else to say about it because we haven't got enough evidence to go on. We're just surmising everything about that detector. But it from what I can tell, it really is aimed at the African market. It'll probably work here as well quite well. But like I say, at the moment we don't know. Oh, and by the way, here's the tiniest gold that I can detect with the PI at the moment. This is the modified PI detector, and I was using a 5-inch coil on it, right? 5-inch coil on the PI. I'm going to have to hold this up stuck on the sticky note. Can you see that stuck there? That's the smallest bit of gold I can get. And I can't really, it won't even register properly on the scales, not even on, what I would call the, basically, it won't register on those. It just says nah. Won't measure properly on these. And these are what I call, I don't know what you want to call those, for measuring very, very tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. It won't settle. So I don't know how small it is. Well, I'll show you how small it is. Here's no, I thought it was a pencil. But I was going to say, if you want to know how small it is, I need something to compare it with. And I'm trying to think of something universal that I can compare it with. Let me look in my drawer. What have I got? So I need something that is comparable in every country of the world. So there's a coin sitting here, but it's an Australian $2. Okay, that's an Australian $2. You can probably get an idea how big that is. Yeah, it's not gold, by the way. It's gold coloured, but they ain't gold, I'll tell you that. Yeah, without flicking this off. Here we go. If I drop it, I'll never see it again. So if you can see that, there you go. That's the smallest bit of gold I can actually detect with a 5-inch coil. And that's on a modified 5000, by the way. I don't know why you would want to dig gold that small, but it was just an experiment to see if it could be done. So, yeah, very, very, very tiny. And if I sneeze or breathe on it, it'll probably run away. So I just had it stuck on a post-it note. So, yeah, I don't know. See that? There you go. It's like a grain of sugar. It's very small. So I'll put it back in the I'll put it on these scales. It's got a lid on it, so hopefully it stays there. There we go. But yeah, I can't really measure it. It's very, very tiny. So PIs clocked really fast, with a lot of things done to it so it does go fast and doesn't jam itself up, you can get very, very small gold. But God, you've got to run a lot of gain and run it very, very fast, and it can detect that stuff. So in my way of thinking, I look at that and I'd say, great, I can get very small gold with a PI if I want to. I'll probably get a lot more depth at the same time. But what's in this Gold-Monster-2000? Does it have any PI transmit capability? This is the big question. And, something like that, a hybrid type detector with all that sensitivity and discrimination would be fantastic. It really would. But look, even at this stage, I'd possibly go and buy one. A lot of them, I've had all the Minelab machines. I'll tell you right now, right, of all the Minelab machines that I absolutely, well, I didn't like. It wasn't for me, for other people, but not for me. The first time I ever used a 7000, I got one years ago, and I got rid of it really quick. I couldn't stand it. It was to me, no, I'll just be honest, to me, my opinion, and the way I looked at it, it was a big, heavy, clunking pig of a thing. And the problem was at the time, I only had the 19-inch coil with it, right? And I didn't have a smaller coil. And the 19-inch coil is a pig of a thing, if you ask me. It really is. I don't like it, But the smaller coils are great. And when the smaller coils came out for the 7000, it made it a completely new detector. It was very, very good. It got gold other detectors didn't get, mainly because of the coil configuration. And I should explain why I say that, because it's a triple, well, what do you want to call it? It's a double D. There you go. And because where the windings in a double D cross over, it creates a very sensitive part of the coil, extremely sensitive. If that 7000 was somehow working on a mono, which it can't, but it does have to have separate coils in there for it to work. But, if that was just looked at as a mono, it wouldn't be as sensitive as what it is. You got to remember that the transmit coil, even though the coil's this big, the transmit coil's like this, okay? And then you got another receive coil here and a receive coil here, and they overlap. And those overlaps are extremely sensitive. So it's really funny that people go out there and compare that detector with that coil on it to any other detector running a mono coil, because a mono coil won't be that sensitive. You don't have those sensitive regions. But if you get a double D coil and you go and put it on one of the other normal types of detectors, it's as sensitive as hell, right? So as small gold goes across that center part where the two coils cross over, it makes a very sensitive region. And that's what gets me. Look, I tell you, there's a lot of people that just don't know how things are configured and why they're configured a particular way, and they're trying to compare apples with lemons or something, right? It's not the same. They think it's all apples with apples, but everything about it is completely different, and it's going to give a different result. It's just what it is. So if you get a double D coil, now most double D coils out there are absolute. I'm going to put this in really good context here. Most double D coils are lossy pigs of things, right? They are. If you made a proper double D coil, I mean properly balanced, and no funny offsets, the way it's constructed. I've made double Ds, and I made them basically two transmit coils and put them together, and random and keep completely balanced, and they reject all the noise. You just got to fine tune things a little bit, but they'll reject like 90% of the noise. Normal double D will probably reject about 60% of the noise. And when you start running high gain, the double Ds, what we're used to, all fall over. They just are not balanced. They're not balanced at all. So there's a massive market for someone with some nous to make commercial, proper double D coils. And I don't mean like, standard, we've got 20 turns here for the transmit and it's 1 mil, cross-sectional Litz wire type thing, with 80 odd strands in it. And here we're going to use hair wire and we're going to run more strands. It's just a lossy, horrible, a lot of very thin, resistive wire. It don't work very well. I mean, it does the job. You can sell it and say, oh, it's a double D. Yeah, it'll work like that. But it's not the best coil. It's like, going down a dragway with normal highway tires on it. You're not going to get any traction. So, beef it up, make it proper. There's certain aspects of it that I don't like. There's a lot of stuff that really needs to be switched in and switched out. On the double D winding, on the receive winding, I just put a fixed resistor across it. Goodbye a lot of your signal, and inject a lot of noise into the receiver as well. It really needs switching on that. Basically, it needs what's happening on the transmitter happening on the receiver. With switched in, switched out damping resistor, and it probably could be made a lot less than what the transmit is, but you don't want anything hanging across your windings after everything's died off. You want as much signal as you can. So yeah, the detector technology is a limiting factor there on what's been produced to date and can be made a lot better. Anyway, there, see, I went right off then, but I was trying to say about the 7000 compared to something with a mono on it, which you can't. It's totally different. You really need to run a double D with a similar sized coil. But even though, if you have a similar sized coil as a 7000, right, the windings in it are a lot smaller than your double D. You got to remember the 7000 has 3 coils in it. A double D only has 2. So just sheer logic that it must have smaller coils in it, right? Which makes it more sensitive. And that's what it does. It makes it more sensitive. And why it picks up on deeper gold in an okay fashion, not the best, but okay, because we've done tests. And for a similar size coil, it just doesn't match anywhere near the capability of a mono coil. So in that regard, yes, it gains in sensitivity. Great, it's going to get all the small gold. It does have extra depth capability because it's got 2 receive coils. And if you've got 2 receive coils, you've got 2 pairs of ears, like how good can you hear something doing that and then doing that, right? Hears better. So it's the same thing. It's a funny way to explain it, but it's actually true. It can hear better. If you had one bung ear hole, you wouldn't hear stuff as good as having 2. It's more capture area. That's all it is. With receive, it's called capture area. The bigger the antenna, the more you capture. Okay, then you get more EMI and stuff as well. But it's a trade-off. Anyway, I don't really want to go and diverge into all that sort of stuff. Really, just trying to come up with some logical assumptions about this 2000. If we all should save our pesos and whatever else we have. Yeah, well, that's what the Australian dollar is at the moment, isn't it? It's pesos. And if it keeps going the way it's going to end up as rubles. Or it might end up as renminbis or yuan or whatever you want to call it. Depends how things go. I don't know. The world's a mixed up place at the moment. It's crazy. Why don't we just peg it to the US dollar? and make all our stuff cheap for us, you know. Yes, that's what we should do, shouldn't we? Just peg the Australian dollar to the US dollar, and we can go on more overseas holidays. It'll be 40% cheaper. Fantastic. But all our exports would dry up. But then again, some of the stuff we have, what we're exporting, is not much else in the world, so maybe it's got to come to us anyway. I don't know. Yeah, so a high dollar is good and bad for a consumer. A high dollar, or the Aussie peso, is really good. Fuel prices had come down, everything would be cheaper, but our exports, what do we export? Iron ore and iron ore. No, we do. We export a lot of seafood as well, stuff like that, especially to China. A lot of meat, but all that would go up in price, and they probably wouldn't buy it anymore. And all that would fall over. Then the whole economy would fall over. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Okay, so that's all I can pull out of the ether about the Gold Monster 2000. So we'll probably see a few more things pop up. I wonder if one of these guys over in Africa, Mr. Hussein, would you like to pull the covers off it and show us the guts, or put it on the oscilloscope and show us the waveforms? Then we could probably make some really logical assumptions of how this thing works. Otherwise, it's just a guessing game, so I don't really know. But yeah, I'm just scrolling through the notes I've done on it at the moment. Yeah, but it's basically all I can pull on it. So, it's going to be interesting anyway. When it's released, I hope some people quickly get some videos out on it and do some tests, and just prove it one way or the other. If it's the holy grail of detecting, or it's another one of those or something. You know what I mean? Don't worry, I'm not going to go into the history of claims on detectors, because if I went back into the history on claims of detectors, the newest detectors would be detecting at 50 feet down, because it's 30% better than the last one and 30% better than the one before that, and it's not. It just doesn't work that way. So we'll see. So I'm tentatively looking at wanting to buy one. And for me, wanting to buy a detector, actually wanting to go out and purchase it with real money, be it pesos or whatever, it really has to get my interest. And, well, we'll see how it goes. But I think I don't know. If everything the way it's sounding is the way it's going to be, you could guarantee it. I'd pre-order one. I'd get one, but then again, wouldn't you hate to do it and be disappointed? And it's no better than its predecessor or something. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe I think Minelab should probably put out a bit more information about it. So just maybe they shouldn't. Maybe all this speculation causes so much interest that it just spreads like wildfire, and everyone's got it on their watch list, and they're all going to pounce on it. But I'll tell you what, I don't know. I really want to know. So maybe a little bit more time has to go by, and we'll just see how this thing pans out. We'll just see if it's the be all end all, or it's whatever. I don't know. But anyway, if you find any information out, be it hearsay or not, leave it in the comments, because it's good. I've gone through all the comments. I've gone and looked at everything I can on the web, and I've tried to bunch it all together and try and work out something logical. So it can be, one of three things at the moment. And yeah, and you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I don't really know. I'm just trying to logically, well, basically trying to be a detective on the case. You know, I might go down the wrong path even, but I don't know. I just haven't got enough evidence, enough stuff to work with. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Catch us later.